field instead of like sitting down, which he did earlier. And when he kept dragging across the field, I had to follow him. And once I turned around, he turned around, and I turned around.
For some players, their list of crimes is way longer than their achievements. And who demonstrates this better than Lewis Billups? His troubles began with domestic violence, including brutal beatings of his girlfriend and terrifying threats to cut her face. This pattern of abuse escalated to unlawful firearm possession and a sexual assault charge, further revealing a dangerous lifestyle. His legal issues intensified with scandals involving the FBI, contributing to an ever-growing criminal record. Lewis Billups had a troubling and violent history that extended well beyond his time on the football field. In May 1987, he was arrested in Hamilton County, Ohio, after being charged with felony domestic battery. The incident involved his then-girlfriend, Tracy Fair, who lived in Cincinnati. The violence erupted when she decided to end their relationship. Although Fair initially pressed charges, she later dropped them, but pursued a civil lawsuit against Billups instead. During the civil trial, Fair shared her harrowing experience, describing how Billups threatened her in terrifying ways. She testified that he said he would hire someone to cut her face with a razor blade and finish the job if she didn't drop the criminal charges. The abuse left Fair with severe physical injuries. She underwent 6 surgeries on her face as a result of the assault. This included a complex bone grafting procedure where doctors reconstructed her nose using bone taken from her skull and ribcage. In the end, Billups settled with Fair for $30,000 in an out-of-court agreement. You think this is all the insanity he had? Well, surely not, as his other crimes are equally disturbing. In January 1990, Billups found himself in serious trouble once again when he was arrested in Hamilton County, Ohio. This time, he faced multiple charges, including the unlawful possession of a concealed firearm and the unlawful transportation of a firearm in a vehicle while committing a crime. The situation escalated dramatically when Billups pointed a .38 caliber pistol at 2 undercover police officers, which led to 2 counts of aggravated menacing. Despite the evidence against him, Billups pleaded not guilty to the charges, seemingly hoping to clear his name. However, the jury didn't see it that way. After deliberating, they found him guilty on all counts. As a result, Billups was sentenced to serve 30 days in the Hamilton County Jail. This incident added another layer to his already troubling history, showcasing not only his disregard for the law, but also his willingness to resort to violence, even against law enforcement. His NFL career came to an end, but not his crimes. He left the field, but not his evil crimes. As Billups's NFL career wound down, his violent behavior didn't fade away. Instead, it escalated. In March 1993, he was arrested by FBI agents in Fayette County, Kentucky, following a series of alarming incidents involving terroristic threats against Washington Bullets basketball player Rex Chapman. Billups had been dating Chapman's sister Jenny, and allegations of abuse during their relationship soon surfaced. After their breakup, Billups began making threatening calls to Jenny, warning her against seeing other men. Concerned for her safety, Jenny reached out to the FBI. They took her seriously and recorded 2 of Billups' calls. In one chilling conversation, he ominously stated, "You got your brother's knees in your hands," implying he could harm Rex Chapman. He went on to threaten that Rex would get a visit that could end his career, saying, "Next thing you read, Rex Chapman through for the year, maybe for the rest of his career." In another call, he made a terrifying promise. "Now I'm telling you right now, as God is my witness, I swear on my mother's life, if you ever speak to a guy, just say hi to a guy from Kentucky. I promise you go see your brother, and he'll never play basketball again." In a twist of fate, Billups flew from Florida to Kentucky to confront Jenny. However, instead of meeting her, he was met by FBI agents who arrested him on the spot. The evidence against him was overwhelming, with numerous witnesses, including Jenny Chapman and Tracy Fair, testifying about Billups's violent nature. Many expressed that they felt genuinely fearful for their safety when he was around. In June 1993, after accepting a plea deal, Billups pleaded guilty to the charges. As a consequence of his actions, he was sentenced to serve 12 months in the federal USP Atlanta, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Additionally, he was hit with a hefty $10,000 fine. This chapter of Billups' life painted a grim picture of a man whose personal demons continued to wreak havoc long after his football career ended. Out of all these charges, the sexual assault remains the most disgusting one. In October 1993, Billups found himself in yet another legal predicament when he pleaded no contest to a charge of criminal conspiracy in Seminole County, Florida. This charge stemmed from a disturbing incident that took place in December 1992. Billups was arrested along with a friend named Gregory Calloway after they were accused of drugging and sexually assaulting a woman at Billups' home in Longwood. The situation was particularly shocking, as Billups had been a friend of the victim, inviting her over for lunch under false pretenses. According to the victim, after arriving at Billups' residence, she was served a drink that had been laced with an unspecified drug, causing her to pass out. During this time, Calloway recorded the assault on videotape. When the victim regained consciousness, she was faced with a terrifying threat from Billups. He allegedly told her that if she did not pay him and Calloway $20,000 each, he would send copies of the videotape to her husband, her family, and friends on her Christmas card list. This act of intimidation made the situation even more harrowing for the victim, who felt trapped and powerless. Following the incident, arrest warrants were issued for both Billups and Calloway, leading to their arrest in Seminole County on December 16, 1992. They were each released the next day on a $50,000 bond. The case sparked a wave of fear in the community, prompting several other women to come forward with similar accusations against Billups, though no additional charges were filed. Ultimately, Billups accepted a plea deal that reduced his charges to just one count of criminal conspiracy. As part of his sentencing, he was given 3 years of probation, which would start after he was released from the federal penitentiary in Atlanta on April 4, 1994. Sadly, he did not get the chance to redeem himself, as his sudden death became the end of everything. Just 5 days after being released from USP Atlanta, Billups met a tragic end in a car crash on April 9, 1994. On that fateful day, he was driving his Corvette convertible at speeds exceeding 100 miles an hour on Interstate 4. In a dangerous attempt to avoid colliding with another vehicle that was changing lanes, he lost control of the car. The reckless maneuver resulted in the destruction of over 55 feet of steel security railing along the highway. Billups wasn't alone during this high-speed drive. His friend Danny Green was seated next to him. Sadly, Danny was killed on impact due to the severity of the crash. The force of the collision was so intense that Billups was thrown from the vehicle, landing on the highway. Highway patrol officers who arrived at the scene found him lying there amidst the wreckage. After being discovered, Billups was rushed to a nearby hospital in Orlando. Unfortunately, despite the medical team's efforts to save him, he succumbed to his injuries shortly after arriving. His life, which had been marked by a series of troubling incidents and legal issues, came to a sudden and tragic end. The story of Lewis Billups, including his turbulent life and untimely death, is prominently featured in the best-selling book, Pros and Cons. The book delves into the complexities of his life, shedding light on the choices he made and the consequences that followed, leaving a lasting impact on those who knew him and those who read about his story. Although he had a very brief career, there was a time when his NFL fans loved him for his skills. Billups was known as a tough cornerback who played with a chip on his shoulder, making him a fierce competitor on the field. His defensive skills earned him a lot of respect from his teammates, and he quickly became a popular figure in the locker room. The Cincinnati Bengals recognized his talent and selected him in the second round of the 1986 NFL Draft, giving him a chance to shine in the NFL. One of Billups' standout seasons came in 1988 when he had an impressive performance. During that year, he intercepted 4 passes and recovered 2 fumbles, playing a crucial role in helping the Bengals reach the Super Bowl. His contributions to the team were significant, and fans were excited to see how he would perform on the biggest stage. However, Billups is often remembered for a heartbreaking moment in Super Bowl XVIII. As the game progressed into the fourth quarter, the Bengals held a narrow lead of 13-6 against the San Francisco 49ers. With the 49ers driving down the field from the Bengals' 10-yard line, quarterback Joe Montana threw a pass right to Billups in the end zone. Unfortunately, he dropped the interception, a missed opportunity that would prove costly. On the very next play, the 49ers scored a touchdown, tying the game at 13. As the game neared its conclusion, Montana threw another pass, this time a 10-yard touchdown pass to John Taylor, giving the 49ers a 20-16 lead with just 34 seconds left on the clock. The Bengals couldn't respond, and San Francisco won the game 20-16. That dropped interception remains a defining moment in Billups' career, reminding fans of how fleeting success can be in the high-stakes world of football. Despite the disappointment, his toughness and determination on the field left a lasting impression on both his teammates and the fans. That is it for this one, but if you happen to like NFL legends, make sure to check out our latest videos on our channel NFL Icons. I'm sure you will love it.